What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Blue Podcast, episode number 25. And today we're breaking down the New York Yankees today, breaking down their recent struggles because the offense hasn't been there and just not winning enough baseball games as the Yankees currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays 8.5 games back. They're currently in third place right now, second highest payroll. The offense hasn't been there. The pitching's been there, though. The pitching, the bullpen, that has not been the problem. The problem has been the offense. Aaron Judge is now injured. Nestor Cortez with the shoulder injury, he's injured. Rodon has yet to pitch a game yet. Bader's back on the IL with the hamstring strain. And it's just not been a good start for the Yankees. And, the Yankees need to get their top guys back if they want to try and make, a run for, first place. But, 8.5 games back is, no little lead. That is a huge lead for the Tampa Bay Rays. And it all started in April. They started off hot and, they continue to play good ball. Yankees season has been a roller coaster thus far. Some good stretches and then some mediocre stretches. But, they got a rubber match tonight against the Boston Red Sox. Huge game for the Yankees. And, they hope to take 2 out of 3 from their rivals, the Boston Red Sox. And Clark Schmidt's on the mound. He's been solid these last few starts. He's been much better, but you hope for another good start out of Clark Schmidt against a decent Red Sox team that has some good players on their team. Of course, Rafael Devers is a good player. He has hit home runs in back-to-back games, one off Domingo Germán and one off of Garrett Cole. I'm pretty sure Devers hit a home run off of Germán, but regardless, he's got 2 home runs, and he's their best player, obviously. They gave him a ton of money, and he deserves it. He's a really good baseball player, one of the best at his position, but the Yankees need their top guys to show up. With no Aaron Judge, the offense, it's much different. The Yankees have continuously been carried by Aaron Judge, and without him in the lineup, you got to see guys like Giancarlo Stanton step up. A guy like Anthony Rizzo, who is, has a bad stretch of games. A guy like Josh Donaldson. Of course, you need to see him impact. I'm probably missing a few guys. A guy like DJ LeMahieu. He has been brutal thus far, and he needs to get going because he's a good piece of this roster. He was one of their best contributors with runners in scoring position just a few seasons ago, and now, ever since he's gotten that toe injury that he suffered last season, he has not been the same baseball player. But, talking about DJ LeMahieu, his strikeout rate percentage is up to 27%, and that's the highest of his career currently. Granted, we haven't hit the All-Star break, so it's still, a decent amount of games, but, this is a decent sample size, in my opinion now, and DJ LeMahieu has to be better. Batting, he's batting bad. He's below average in a lot of categories. WRC plus is only an 89. That's below average. He's just got to be one of those guys who contribute. He has been up and down the lineup. You see, he was hitless in last game against the Red Sox, and the game before that, he had 2 hits. But the Yankees have to see a new LeMahieu if they even want to, go far and win these games. Because with no Aaron Judge, it's tough. It's you can't replace an Aaron Judge. It's like his offensive numbers. He was on pace to do exactly the same as he did the season last season, where he hit 62 home runs. He was right on pace with that, similar numbers. And Aaron Judge, of course, we know he suffered an injury colliding into the Dodgers right field wall. It was an amazing catch regardless, but he took one for the team, and it's tough to see Aaron Judge go on the IL because he's amazing. Aaron Judge, you need Aaron Judge, and he's carried you. He carried you all last season. He's carried you a lot this season, and he's a guy that just you can't replace. And you look at it, with Rizzo, he's been good despite this skid that he's had. Anthony Rizzo is a good first baseman, but that recent skid has not been great to him. Only one hit in the last 6 games, and I mean, he had that neck injury, and maybe that's the reason why he's slumping. But you got to see good production out of your first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, and Anthony Volpe's got to step up in a big time way. He nearly hit a home run off Kenley Jansen to win that game in game 1. Was I think like a foot away from hitting that in left field. But regardless, you got to move on from that, and Anthony Volpe just has to get on base. If he could just get on base, he's deadly on the base path. Of course, we know his stealing bases. He's really good at that. He's just really good in many categories, but he's got to get on base. That's the main thing. Another hitless game last game. He's just got to start putting the ball in play. But the Yankees aren't going to send him down. Anybody who thinks Anthony Volpe is going to get sent down, I don't think it's going to happen. Of course, we know Oswald Peraza has been killing AAA. He's been putting up some outstanding numbers. So, you wonder if he gets the call up sometime, if there's an injury. I think if we do know that LeMahieu has an injury and he's just playing through it, and eventually they put him in the IL, I think the first guy in line is definitely Oswald Peraza. But, we don't know the health of DJ LeMahieu, right? We don't know if he's playing injured or he's just in a bad slump. But, this is a guy, I know it's dating back to 2019, but he was outstanding in 2019 and even 2020. COVID year, he was really good in those 2 years. And then, last year he was good. It's just been this year, I don't know what it's been. Maybe it's because he's been batting in the 6th spot a lot, but you need production out of DJ LeMahieu. But, now we get to the pitching, the fun stuff. Garrett Cole has been good, and it really pisses me off to see him throw a great game against Boston in game 1 and find a way to not get the win. You let up 2 earned runs. That's a great start. If you're letting up 2 earned runs, you got a pretty good chance at winning that baseball game. Not the case at all. I mean, you lose 3-2, and if a team is scoring 3 runs against you, you should be able to win that game. 3 runs isn't a lot. Losing by 1 is not like losing by 6, right? This is a Yankees team's offense that needs to get going, and they have the pieces. They got Stan, they got Rizzo. They have good pieces to the puzzle. It's just putting the puzzle together, right? If that makes sense. But we get to the pitching. The starting rotation overall has been pretty decent, I'd say. I mean, Nestor Cortez is the real iffy in that rotation. I think right now his numbers have not been the same as they were last season. I mean, I don't know what it's been with Nestor. After the 4th inning, that's where that he just collapses. I don't know if it's fatigue or I don't know what it is, but he's been getting smacked around. And he's a guy that you need to be good, come postseason. And I know it's a little, it's way too early to talk about postseason ball. But, if the Yankees if the Yankees make the playoffs, which we sure hope so they do, you need Nestor Cortez to be good. Because, I mean, if you have a healthy pitching rotation in a perfect world, you have Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino, and Domingo Germán. That's a good rotation going into the playoffs, I mean, pitching has not, in my opinion, pitching has not been the ultimate problem for the Yankees. It's been the offense. The offense has not been able to get it done year in and year out. And there's just mediocre players that are on this roster right now that probably shouldn't be on the team right now or should be in AAA, in my opinion. I think Oswald Cabrera, the only reason why he is still on this team is practically because, his defense. His defense is really good. I will admit that. The bat just needs to get better. he's really the main guy that I think. Um, if when Judge comes back, he's probably gonna get sent down. But I don't hate Cabrera at all. This is not me, slandering Oswaldo Cabrera. I love Cabrera. I think he can be a good baseball player for this Yankees squad. It is just the matter of fact of he needs to get his bat going. Because if he can get his bat going, he's a switch hitter. He could be pretty deadly in this league, and he's got the short porch in right field, right? That's why Anthony Rizzo hits a ton of home runs as well. I mean, he hit like 32 home runs last year, I'm pretty sure, and that's why he was successful. That porch. Matt Carpenter, a Yankee last year, who's now on San Diego, he loved that short porch in right field. I mean, he loved it. That's why he was super successful prior to his injury, where then he started to slack off and his numbers weren't as good. But, we talk about the pitching, and the main guy that I have loved out of this rotation has been Domingo Germán. We know he got suspended 10 games, for that foreign substance incident. But regardless, I've loved Germán's stuff, right? His numbers have been really good. I mean, really good. I mean, we look at it. His curveball has been his best pitch, and I love it. I love his curveball. It's super good. He throws it 41% of the time, most out of any pitch in his arsenal. And he's got 43 Ks off the curveball. So Domingo Germán has really loved that pitch. And, he threw another good game against the Red Sox, right? And they got the win there. So, and also, I mean, batters hate his curveball. They are batting 168 against his curveball. And, I love that he keeps using that curveball. I mean, keep throwing what works. And, expect, a ton of curveball use the rest of the way. I mean, he threw it, 37% of the time. He mixed more of his fastball and curveball more often. But this year, it's been straight curveball. It has been curveball after curveball, maybe throwing a fastball. He's only thrown a sinker, 12% of the time. So it's really been the curveball that's been his main pitch. And, we look at the months so far. April wasn't nice to him. 5.54 ERA, 7 home runs allowed, 33 Ks in 26 innings, and 16 earned runs. That was in 5 games. Now we go to May, 2.54 ERA, so a huge dip in ERA, 28 and a third innings pitched. Only allowed 1 home run and 20 Ks and 8 earned runs. So, I mean, you look at it, his ERA dropped by 3 points. His Ks went down, but that's okay because he's allowing less runs and less home runs. So that's what you love to see. And now we get to June. And Domingo Germán shoved. I mean shoved. 1.42 ERA. This is only through 2 games, but a 1.42 ERA, 12 and 2/3, 2 home runs, 11 Ks, and 2 earned runs. So things are looking bright for Domingo Germán. I mean, things are looking good, and I love him to stay healthy and keep pitching good because they're gonna need him in big spots because they could trust him. I feel like during May, I don't think Boone gave him that extra inning as much as he does now, right? I think they're starting to trust Domingo Germán stuff more. Going 3 times through the order and stuff. I think Domingo has been your second best pitcher in the rotation, just behind Garrett Cole. Domingo Germán has had 4 starts with 4 earned runs or more. He has pitched 12 games. The rest have been 2 earned runs or less. That's your 5th starter for the rest of the season. Unless he gets injured, knock on wood. I hope he doesn't get injured because the IL stint has been horrible. I mean, the Yankees have been cursed with injuries. I don't know what to say. They got to find a way to stay healthy for the rest of the season if they want to have a chance to catch the race. 8.5 games is a lot of games. We know that. You got to have a huge streak and a lot to go your way. But making the playoffs is the priority. Whether it's in the wild card and winning the wild card or making the playoffs as a top seed, right? So you have to find a way, but we're still early. I know I keep talking about playoffs. We're still early, but I'm just saying for the future, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to get injured, who's going to go red hot, but the Yankees need to keep winning games and the games that they need to win. I mean, they've done a good job against good teams this year. I'm pretty sure they're 3-4 or 4-3 against the Rays. You know, it hasn't been they've been like blown out by the Tampa Bay Rays. You know, they've done a really good job. But another person I want to touch on, I touched on a little before, was Nestor Cortez. You know, of course he's got that shoulder strain, and he's clearly not been the pitcher he was last season. The cutter has been his worst pitch out of his arsenal. He's let up a significant amount of home runs. He's let up 5, and his ERA is way, way higher than it was last season. And you know, last year he was top 10% in expected ERA too. But you look at his numbers: 4-seam, a 2.22 batting average, 3 home runs allowed, and 37 Ks. So that's been his best pitch, his 4-seam. His cutter, 260 batting average, 5 home runs, and 12 Ks. And 260 average is a good average in this league. And of course, the sweeper, his worst pitch in my opinion, 280 batting average. That's really good batting. That's really bad from Nestor, but really good on the hitter's part. 2 home runs and 3 strikeouts. But the Yankees play the Boston Red Sox tonight. I'm recording this the day of the game. I'm going to the game, so hopefully the boys can get it done, get a win, and move on. It's going to be a tough task to try and overtake the Tampa Bay Rays. I think that this team is fully healthy, and you have LeMahieu, who's playing good. You got Giancarlo, who's playing good, who's a streaky player, but when he's good, he's good. You got Aaron Judge, of course, when he gets back. Hopefully, we don't have a time-low return, but you hope he comes back soon to save the team, save the season. But the pitching has not been the problem. Wandy Peralta's been great. You know, Clay Holmes is back to his old self. Michael King has been pretty good. You know, the pitching has been good. Just the offense needs to come in clutch. Of course, it's been the Inside the Boot podcast, episode number 25. We're back. Follow us on TikTok at Inside the Boot podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Vin. This has been Talk About the New York Yankees today. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about the New York Rangers, and then followed by that, we're talking about the New York Giants and what training camp has in store in the future with Saquon Barkley, of course. We don't know what his future is, but we hope he re-signs with the guys in blue. Of course, let's go Rangers, let's go Yanks, and let's go Giants, baby. Peace.